Hi everyone, thanks for joining. Today we are going to focus on infusing Gen AI in existing applications. This is the second session in the current series, and as usual, we'll discuss some concepts and we'll see how it can be implemented using technologies. The audience of these sessions, as usual, is anybody who's interested in Gen AI. I purposely keep these sessions at a conceptual level so that whosoever is going through this session can be benefited. I try to substantiate these concepts with the help of some implementations so that we have a better confidence and understanding on the topic covered. I'm happy to take this session to the next level. If you desire so, please do write to me. I can really have a more in-depth technical hands-on sessions. I use Azure platform in some cases, but most of the things that I cover are agnostic to model providers and platform providers. I use open source frameworks, language, and tools. The idea being is you should be able to pick up from here and implement it in the way you want, more suitable for your environment. I do have a LinkedIn group where I post the latest market and technology trends. Feel free, if you have not joined, so join that group. This is the fourth series. I had three series and got recordings of all the sessions as part of the invite that I've sent. Feel free to go through them. Let me know if there's any questions and we can really discuss it. So let's start. Um, Before we do that, let's try to understand when we are talking about infusing Gen AI in existing application, what kind of a install base or application base we have. Windows has been there for long, but 2010ish mobile platforms become really very strong. So you had Apple releasing iOS in 2007 when they launched iPhone, and Android operating system became very popular from 2010 onwards. So what you have is a huge install base of applications that are good candidates for infusing Gen AI in some shape and form. There are also other apps ecosystems like Mac, uh, Wearable OS, Watch OS, Annex is an important operating system. You have smart TV platforms, you have VRs and AR platforms, gaming consoles. There are progressive web apps which are not uh, there in any app store. Then you have Chrome OS from Google, smart home appliances like Alexa in Amazon devices, Google Assistant, and finally we have enterprise um, and cloud platform, Salesforce, Microsoft Azure, and AWS, SAP. Now these applications provide a tremendous and a very big opportunity for infusing Gen AI, and that is what we are going to focus today. The Gen AI market is really growing at a almost 40% rate, and as we move uh, forward, you would probably find we will have not only AI implemented as new greenfield projects, but also we will be um, amending the existing application, adding those functionality which are leveraging Gen AI capabilities or AI as such, where you can actually increase or enhance the user experience and productivity. And we'll see that in the session today through some demos. Now, why we want to do that? The main advantage of infusing AI or Gen AI in existing system essentially provides a lot of benefits. First, it is fast time to value because these systems are already in place and you just add features which are specific uh, use cases where AI really provides a great value. We are using existing systems that saves costs, time, money, because a lot of business process and workflows are already there. The only thing that is required to be done is to really add some AI flavor. The systems are already scalable. For example, Microsoft has introduced co-pilots in their all productivity apps, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Exchange, and that provides the kind of scalability that you need. Because these applications are currently being used, the barrier in terms of user adoption is also very low. So these are some of the key benefits of infusing AI into the existing application that we have. Now, there are three patterns I see emerging out when we are talking about incorporating machine learning or AI into applications. The first pattern called AI embedded, where the AI capabilities are added behind the scene. It is embedded in your current applications. The second one is AI assisted, where you have an application supported with an application running parallelly. So you typically have a main application and a sidebar or a side pane, which provides an assistant based on what is being done in the main application. And the third one, which is applicable more to the new apps, which is a greenfield kind of an approach where you build everything, keeping AI as a center theme, and we'll see all of them one by one. So in AI centric, the applications are built from the ground up, where Gen AI capability is the core feature, or it is the main theme in terms of what the application capabilities are. Users rely on AI generated content and outputs to complete tasks. And the examples which I can think of and I will show you is called Microsoft Designer, which is basically an AI powered content creation broad platform. Microsoft Designer is designed specifically for generating content like images, blog posts, social media updates, marketing material, product description. Let's see how Microsoft Designer works. And also, I like to show you something similar, which is from Google called Google Slab. And that is also a first class AI centric application development paradigm. Let's see how Designer works. So if you go to designer.microsoft.com, so what you see is basically an application that helps you generate different sort of content. For example, images, icons, wallpaper, invitation. And let's see in action. Suppose I want to generate an image. So for example, I'm trying to generate an image for a children's book, and I want to generate some sort of an image that is appealing. So the description that I provided, a panda bear teaching maths to a class full of goats. So that's a text to image use cases, and you can actually see it has given me a number of options to choose from. Similarly, if you go to Google Labs, they have a product called Illuminate, and what it does basically, you provide a source in the form of a PDF document, and it will help you create an AI generated audio discussion. For example, if you see,
let's unpack a paper titled Attention is All You Need. What's the core idea here?
Well, the big idea in this paper is that we can build a really effective sequence transduction model without using recurrence or convolutions, the usual suspects, right?
so see how easily by choosing an input document, it can actually generate some sort of discussion or audio discussion, something similar to podcast that is based on the input that is being provided. So let's look at the second pattern, which is AI assisted, which is also known as a co-pilot or an assistant based approach. The idea is you have a main application and there is another co-pilot or assistant application that runs side by side, and that helps the user of the main application in terms of what all can be done in the form of suggestion, can also provide insight based on the current context, and that would really make that whole exercise uh, very productive in terms of user productivity and experience. The assistant can also perform actions. Sometimes you're given a choice based on the context and the ask, and that can really result on doing something in the main application. So let's see a demo of that. Now look at the second pattern. Let's assume that you are on some web page, Wikipedia in this case, and going through some material, and you really don't have time and probably you do not have the background to understand that, and you want it to be summarized simply. So if you're using Microsoft Edge browser, you see an icon like this. If you click on this, this would really bring up a Copilot for eyes, and we are presented with number of options that are basically based on the context, and you can choose a conversation style, creative, balance, and precise. Let's try to generate a page summary. So what is happening here? This Copilot is basically looking at this the main browser page and getting the context and generating a summary out of it. Very handy. It really helps things move very quickly for somebody who's just trying to understand an overview of something. You also have option to compose. So if you go here, you can choose to compose things. For example, you want to write a short paragraph, choose the tone and format, and you can generate some sort of text piece out of your question. Uh, the other example of Copilot is on Azure. So say for example, you are an Azure architect like me, and you are trying to uh, basically use Azure portal. So see, very similar pattern on Azure portal. You have a Copilot, which brings up a Copilot assistant window on the side and basically provide assistance in the context of Azure resource management. You can ask any question, um, list, for example, list all storage account, and what it will do, it will basically run what is called um, a command using Graph Explorer, and you can actually see. So that help this assistant or the Copilot in Azure helps you navigate, perform action, do certain things more efficiently instead of going through different pages, and also make your uh, work more productive. So that were the two examples of an AI assistant where you had a co-pilot or an assistant next to the main application. Let's go to the third pattern, and we're going to focus a lot in this pattern where you have an integration of generative AI into an existing application, which makes the overall experience and productivity very high. And it basically uh, what it basically takes the capability, embeds into existing workflow and the processes, and eliminates a lot of steps, provides some uh, wonderful insights, For example, you may have a button that basically triggers some GenAI action within your application. So your applications remain same functionally and does what it is doing. But what you are doing, you're adding some additional AI capabilities into the application. So let's see the demo of an AI embedded use case. So let's assume that you are on linkedin.com and you're trying to publish a post, which is the normal operation that you carry out. So let's say that the content of your post is this and you are not satisfied and you want uh, some sort of a help from an AI perspective. So you see here, you have a button which is embedded in your main application, and if you click on that, it would rewrite um, the text in a better way. You can try number of iteration and get something which is improved by Gen AI, which works behind the scene in the existing functionality. That was an example of an AI embedded into an existing application I tried giving to the LinkedIn, where you have main capabilities, which is extended and augmented by some Gen AI capability without actually changing the way the current application work. Beside these three patterns, what probably you will come across what is called an AI-based UI. So we have UI components, list box, checkboxes, drop down, text boxes. And what is going to happen that we would have UI controls that are set to redefine how applications are designed and experienced. And these advanced AI-based controls will go beyond just displaying the static content like you have conventionally. They would have AI working behind the scene to dynamically adapt, learn from user behavior, optimizing the user experience. It is not just about making the UI looking good or cool, but also making the UI more intelligent based on the AI capability they can be integrated with. And we'll see some demos. Microsoft has introduced these smart components, and they do a lot of things, and we'll see that instead of slide. Let me just show you through a demo. So see, I am having a web app which is running on my local computer, which is nothing but having some pages, smart page, smart text area, smart combo box, and that is essentially would provide an AI based UI. So before I show you something, let me just uh, give you a scenario. Let's say you receive an email from somebody which has information that has to be entered into a web form, and you get the text like this, which has a lot of elements that you have to identify yourself and then put it in the right places in the web form. Now, using smart pace that basically has AI embedded, this task becomes very easy. Let's see. So I'll just copy this and perform a paste operation. And because this is a smart paste, what it do, it basically leveraging a GenAI model will infer the right fields based on the kind of data entry field that is there from the text and then paste it. Let me just show you. This is a free text, and if I have something else in a different form, you get the same outcome. So what basically it is doing is it is trying to infer a schema out of it, then pasting it appropriately. Similarly, you have scenarios where you are writing some notes as part of some processing. And what you can do, you can again leverage Gen AI, which kind of provides sort of autocomplete functionality. For example, you write some text and it'll just populate. Contact us for, so you get the point here. So that is basically sort of an autocomplete. You can have these phrases, standard phrases incorporated in your application, and the advantage is, somebody just writes. It doesn't have to be uh, exact match. It will infer what you are basically trying to put in that text area, and just bring up that phrase. The third example is smart combo. I know we often have applications that have a list box and we are struggling to search something. So what you have, say for example, you're filling a form which is related to transportation. You're submitting a claim, which probably you don't know what is the appropriate value that you have to choose. So you simply type plain anything which is semantically relevant would pop up based on what you have written as. Let's try, say, for example, you're trying to fill information related to a category called pet care, and once you put cat or say dog, it will try and understand what are the possible relevant option semantically similar. Get another example where you have requirement of object classification. So this is a Windows application you probably already have, and you want to embed some GenAI capability. So what you do, basically have a small model, just 90 MB use here, and let me just run and show you. So what this application does, it identifies or classify an object. So let's say you provide an image, and then you'll try to predict or label the type of object that image contains with the degree of confidence. That's very easy to be incorporated in existing application. And you can see is really very fast. You really don't um, need any API to be called outside your network. This model can be integrated in your existing application, can provide you the right functionality. Let's look at some other third-party component that are available in the marketplace. For example, there's a company called Progress Generic, which gives you some sort of an email composer, which is a component that you can add in your application. And as you can see, it can generate an email for you based on the prompt that you will provide, and also in some cases helps you do things in a more productive manner. And these are kind of packaged component that you simply use without having to do anything, and you get the required functionality. Similarly, let me just show you uh, a smart grid component, which basically allows you to look at a tabular data and can provide a smart search. For example, this is a table, and if you're looking for a particular uh, value which may not be exactly phrase or um, worded like what you have, but it can really identify related data like a smart search, which is AI based. Another component is a smart PDF viewer, and you can see here you have a control which you can embed, and what it does basically, it has an AI assistant built in along with the PDF reader, and you just simply embed this control in your existing application. And what it does basically allows you to um, prompt based on the content of the PDF file, generates by providing you some suggestions that are useful. Very similar to ChatGPT. The fundamental difference here is you are not building a new application. What you are doing, you are incorporating such controls in your existing application, and then what your existing application does in terms of a better uh, user experience and higher productivity. So let's go back to our presentations. Another tool from Syncfusion. It's like a chatbot, ChatGPT like control. You do nothing. You simply embed it like you did for other controls, and you have your existing application now enriched or augmented with Gen AI capabilities. So if we just summarize what we have discussed today, um, is about infusing Gen AI, not by not just creating new application, but also enhancing a large install base that you have, uh, which basically provides you a better return on investment, higher adoption, lower barrier in terms of um, incorporating these capabilities. This also enables a smooth transitions because uh, the, the the user base is already familiar with the functionality and the capabilities, and what you are trying to do is to add to that from a Gen AI capability perspective. And what we have seen is here three emerging patterns, two which are more applicable to existing apps, which is embedded AI and assisted AI. And for newer application, you may choose to go an AI centric approach. So that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining in, and I'll see you next week. Have a good day. Bye bye.